Hey everyone, I'm Rob Lawless of Rob's 10K Friends.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm healthy. I'm alive. It's the best thing that
Yeah,
I can ask for right now. How are you feeling?
good. I'm doing well, healthy and alive as well, and in a good place. Just moving forward with the project. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like settled into the quarantine routine over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you currently?
I'm in Hoboken right now.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Are you in Philly?
No, I went home to New Jersey for a little bit, but yeah, I mean, especially thankful because I know it's kind of one of the worst states right now, but you gotta,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all good though.
Yeah. That's we're like right as you know, like right across
Yeah.
the road from New York City. My brother's in Manhattan, and then
Oh,
my
wow.
parents and my sister are in like my sister lives in Conshohocken. My parents are in Norristown. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
so we're all like close, but yeah, it's going
yeah.
well though.
Good. So guys, just so you know, if you want to ask any questions for Rob and his project or anything else you're curious about, you can. We're gonna let it flow based off the questions and stuff I'm curious about to keep up to date with what you're doing. But
Sweet.
how is the just the start? How's the transition been to doing everything online? Is it difficult or is it easier? Like, how is managing that?
It's I was hesitant to do it at first because I wanted to make sure that I met everyone in person for the project,
Yeah.
but the first week I was going crazy. Not like the first couple of days I wasn't doing anything, and I was gonna try to like fill the time with like inspirational posts from people I'd met in the past, but Um, yeah, I was talking to this dude, Chris, who runs an account called Special Books by Special Kids. He was part of my project, and he recommended. He was like, I think that these are historic times in line with times like the Great Depression, and to document them is to do a service to other people. So I was like, all right, we're going to do it virtual. And then from there, it was just a matter of putting out the message. And when I put that out, I probably had like over 200 people message me to
Wow.
join virtually. Yeah, which is crazy. So it's been awesome. It's given me a chance to uh, go like international in a sense. Like I was just looking at it with my brother. I think within the last, since I've gone virtual, I've hit like 33 different countries in 22 different states.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been cool in that aspect. I think the hardest part was just making the decision to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's interesting because it actually provides more opportunity during this time, and that's really cool to see on your end.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was also watching back the last time we talked, and one of the things you said and your reason for doing all this and what you found is you're able to one get like have empathy for people to understand where they come from,
Hmm.
but also just you know learn a lot about yourself as well. So everyone I've talked to on the lives so far that we've done, they've all said during this time it's been a major perspective shift for them, or just like
Hmm.
being okay with people handling this situation differently.
Hmm.
Um, has it been the same for you, or have you observed anything different during this time?
Uh, I have seen like people handle it differently from people who are like super cautious about everything
Mm,
to people who are not. From my perspective, it's been cool because talking to all those people in all those different countries and states, like every time we open the conversation with how's the quarantine for you? And so
yeah.
it's been cool to see that this is something that is affecting people everywhere, like Algeria, Iran, Italy, obviously, like Australia,
Mhm.
Indonesia, Malaysia, all of those places, like people are in quarantine. So I think the cool, like I feel like collectively we all feel like we're missing out on something, which I guess is the plans that we had for ourselves before this happened. Um,
Mm,
but also collectively no one's doing anything, so there's really nothing to miss out on. Like we're all
yeah.
waiting to get back to regular life, and I think it's just been cool from my perspective to see that everyone's going through it together. It changes too. Like
Mm.
Like obviously we all know that we're all going through it together, and like you see all the posts from all the accounts that you follow on Instagram and whatnot talking about it. But I think when you get to do this and like sit down and be face to face with people, it really like hits home.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually really fascinating to like watch your entire project continue to evolve. It's been like 1,100 people since we last talked, and then you have this tacked onto it. It's even more interesting. But to move it along, we have a question here.
Mhm.
If you want to field it, it says, "Have you been asked to connect people within your project network for any reason?" Hmm.
Yes, I try to do that. If I like, if someone comes across my mind that I think is good for another person, like I'll connect them. For example, I met this dude, Kid Travis in Philly. Are you familiar with him?
Travis. I'll send me his
His
thing after. I'll look it up. Yeah, I would love
okay,
to. Yeah,
he's a musician,
I should know
and
him.
I love his stuff. Like he does awesome covers on YouTube.
Wow.
And then I met this dude when I was living in LA who worked in A&R, and so like I connected the two of them just to be like, all right, well he's a musician, you're looking for good musicians. I think that he's high quality musician, someone that you should know about. So I think they ended up hopping on a call.
Hmm.
There's another dude in Philly that I met who he was a student at Temple at the time, and I connected him with a Philly cop who I'd met who was also running a sports radio show, and
Hmm.
the kid from Temple was interested in doing broadcasting, and like they started doing stuff together, and that kind of led to him
Wow.
doing his own radio show. So things like that, like it's kind of like my mind is like a Rolodex where if I hear something or see something, like I want to make the connection. Yeah, and every once in a while too,
Yeah.
people will ask for introductions, and like if both parties are interested and it's mutually beneficial, I'll make that connection for them.
Yeah. It's the even more powerful than LinkedIn. Rob.
Yeah,
Rob himself.
yeah, it's personal.
And sorry to hear as well. This is the one person I'm missing out in my senior year. Dang,
Yeah,
that's
that's
tough.
rough. I've talked to like both seniors in
Yeah.
college and high school in that situation. It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, first time we're going through it, so just
Hmm.
interesting in general. I was gonna ask you the one. So I just thought of this. Sometimes you have to connect people within the network that you've met, and then you have all these people you want to meet. Um, is it still like constantly every minute of your day is being filled by this, or you still have that space, especially now to like do other things? I know last time we talked, you wanted to learn the guitar. Have you
Oh yeah,
been able to dabble in that too?
it's still my guitar is back at my parents' place, so
Okay.
this would be an awesome time to be learning the guitar, but I don't have it with me.
Yeah.
But no, I have like I try to meet four people every day, so my schedule now is I'll meet people at 9, 11, 1, and 3 p.m. And so I'm
Mm.
usually done like posting the last story around 5 p.m. And then my roommate and I will work out together in the apartment. And then it's just like dinner. And then in the evenings, I've been playing Ticket to Ride. It's like a board game.
Oh,
But
okay.
like you can play it on.
Yeah, what is
Well,
that?
it's kind of. Have you ever played Settlers of Catan?
No.
Okay. It's essentially like you have
Dang.
to build like roads between 2 points, and like it takes a certain number of cards to lay roads. In this instance, it's train tracks.
Okay.
But it's just like a fun strategy game, and my older brother and my brother-in-law, we've been playing that together in the evenings. And then I've just
Mm.
been trying to read. So right now I'm reading this book. It's like a fiction novel called Foundation by Isaac Asimov.
Oh, wow.
Um, and then I've been listening to Rich Dad Poor Dad on audiobook.
Great book. Yeah, that's funny you say that. I listened to that the other week. I listened to it back. Um, what other movies as well have you been watching?
Movies?
Yeah, have you been dabbling in shows or movies?
Not movies, but shows. We did, I guess at the start of the quarantine, like the very beginning, we were watching Drive to Survive on Netflix. Have you heard of
Okay,
it?
I've heard of it before.
Yeah, it's on like Formula One racing, which I was
Mm.
never into before, but after watching the series, like I'm pumped. Like I wanted the season to start, and the weekend everything went down was supposed to be the weekend of the Australian Grand Prix. Uh, So
Oh,
hopefully like that will start up, but it's just like a really interesting look into the politics of Formula One racing and like the drivers and how everything goes there. But other than that, we watched You on Netflix, which was
I've heard about that.
entertaining.
Yeah,
Obviously watched Tiger King.
yeah, yeah. Obviously.
And then we've been dabbling back into New Girl recently. So just like a
Mm.
light show. But I want to watch Money Heist.
I've
Or
heard of that. Yeah, yeah. My friend actually recommended that as well.
Yeah, a lot of the people that I have talked to internationally have recommended it.
Mm. That's
Yeah,
probably been really cool. I mean, it's gonna be so cool. I'm sure now people are going into your profile and just like reading through because they have the time to like actually dive deep into all of the stories you have.
for sure.
Yeah, and I was just thinking too, talking about Netflix shows and movies. I've
Hmm.
been big into documentaries lately, and I'm sure like that's something you would really love. I just watched Gyro Dreams of Sushi.
Oh, I've seen
Really,
that in the
really
past.
amazing. Have
Yeah.
you seen it?
Yeah,
So good. It's amazing. He's still alive too. He's 94 years old.
really.
Yeah, guys,
Yeah.
Gyro Dreams of Sushi. If you have time on Netflix, watch that.
It's a dude who's super passionate about his work.
Yeah, I mean that they're gonna make one about you. We talked about that before, but that'll be
Yeah.
Rob and his 10K friends on Netflix.
Someday.
Yeah, guys, just again, just a reminder, if you want to ask any questions, since people are flooding in, we're doing Q&A, and I'm sure everyone knows as well, but if you want to give like an update with the project and
Sure.
just for people flooding in, yeah.
So I'm currently on a mission to spend 1 hour one-on-one with 10,000 different people. And I think at this point I've met 3,353 people.
Mm.
Um, the first 3,259 were all in person. And then since the quarantine happened, I've been taking things virtually.
Mm.
So now it's Zoom calling with people until social distancing ends. Um, but yeah, just meeting people one on one just to learn about their lives and see what comes of making connections for no reason.
Yeah, amazing. I love it. And another thing I want to ask, just because I love to get the up to date on your goals, like
Yeah.
very aware of what's going on with the project. Um, is there anything outside when this ends? Did you have stuff planned that you wanted to do? Are you planning new things for the summer or when this subsides?
Right. Like this year, my focus was to start to get into speaking about the project. I can't remember if we talked about it or not, but long term, I would like to teach a course in a university
Mhm.
on human connection. Like, I just think there should be a course where students are learning from each other as opposed to a textbook or a PowerPoint slide. So I kind of want to like continue to think about that, but get into speaking and start to share what I've learned with people in colleges, high schools, or corporations.
Mhm.
Um, so that's like a big focus for me, and a lot of I think succeeding in that area for me is just practicing. So once there are events again, I was supposed to speak at like a housing corporation this month, but that was canceled.
Mhm.
But yeah, that those are the goals outside, and then like I wanted to go international. I've always wanted to go international with the project, but I was supposed to go to Albania this summer in July. Hopefully, I'll still be able to do
Oh wow.
that. Um, but that is with a guy who I became friends with because I met his wife through my project, and now she and he are really good friends with me, my brother, and my sister-in-law. So we were all going over together with a few other people. But hopefully, that'll still be able to happen.
Amazing. And there was like people you had planned to talk to. I'm sure like you're going over there with like more people that'll you'll interview 4 days. You'll keep it going like 4 days or four people a day.
Potentially, that's more of like a vacation trip.
Awesome. All right, good. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do have people from Albania that I've chatted with, and like one guy specifically, and we talked about potentially doing a virtual call. But he was like, honestly, I'd rather meet in person. So if you're going to come here in July, let's shoot for that. So we're
Yeah.
going to see if we can make that happen, which would be awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Hopefully everything dies down so you can still do that. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. I don't think we talked. I don't know. you're probably taking a vacation, but you're constantly going, so you need that a little bit of that reset and go somewhere else.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be nice. But yeah, it's a nice thing with the project. Like a lot of my friends have gotten married in the past couple of years, so
Mm.
I'm usually taking off to be at like a bachelor party or to be there for their wedding and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of the beauty of running your own project is having that flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
Yeah.
one more thing I wanted to ask, and if more questions come in, we can field them. But how has it been with getting partners and sponsors? Like, what are your current partners, and like how did you approach? I know you got WeWork after we talked, and that was great.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any new ones lined up, and do you want to talk about that overall?
Yeah, so my WeWork one ended in March, which was
Okay.
kind of like a nice clean break because even if we wanted to continue working together, we wouldn't be able to do that right now.
Yeah.
But I still have like an agreement with them where I have access to their location, so I might use them to meet people and we'll just tag them and whatnot. But
Mhm.
I won't be like providing, I guess, exposure to their band, to like showcasing them in stories and whatnot. Um, but that was a hugely helpful partnership. And then once the quarantine started, I connected with this dude, Dan. He and I had talked a bit since September. He has an app called Friended. So it's basically like you download it and you can select prompts and like you answer a prompt and then that goes out to other people and they can respond to it and just open up conversation. Um,
Mhm.
but the whole goal of it is like to provide a space for people who want someone to have someone to talk to. Um, so we did a partnership like the first week of quarantine. Um, and then I think we're reconnecting next week. Like his assistant was just emailing me before this. So that might be something that I continue with. But other than that, I kind of feel like in these circumstances that I've like retreated from going out to find new partners and just back to putting my head down and
Yeah.
continuing to meet people because it's like obviously the economy is going to take a hit from this and so
True.
I just want my focus to be on um, like continuing to build the project so that when it does come back like I'm in a good position to be someone who brands want to partner with.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I like that a lot because I always bring up on one of the past lives, Sean Patel. He actually lives in Philadelphia.
Nice.
He talked about how during this time it's like a value building phase where then after you can, business or not, you can like actually pitch people or like offer them like one of your services. But right now it's like the build the brand, bring the value, like what you're doing is aligned with that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always long
Yeah.
term mindset with this where it's like I feel like the coronavirus has pushed like my plans back for stability maybe like a year or two, but um, it's like a commitment either way. And so like
Yeah.
I've always thought that the project would be a success and I still think that. So I'm just gonna like continue to enjoy it and meet people and live a very simple lifestyle.
Mm.
And then like when things are ready to happen, they'll happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's perfect, and it's just good to see all the updates. Most importantly, good to see you're healthy too. I think I wanted to. Those were all the things I had on my mind, and
Cool.
things I wanted to see what's going on with you. If you wanted to say anything else or bring anything else up, that'd be
Yeah.
great. But we can cap it off.
I just quickly give me an update on your life. I know it's been a bit since
Mm,
we talked. So.
yeah. So for me, I since I think it was March of last year. So I took some time off of school just to focus on Dream Big and Co.
Nice.
And building the brand and building the business so we can do brand strategy, content creation, video production for people.
Hmm.
Um, I'm hoping after this subsides, we can focus more on original films and documentaries. I have a couple stories I want to do things on. And besides that, I'm still in Philly. Uh, Things are great. I actually went to when I took some time off. I went to LA, which is
Nice.
super cool. LA is really unique.
Yeah.
um, and then I went somewhere else in Florida. But it's been really cool to have this time, and it lined up nice with being isolated now and quarantined, and um, that's where I'm at with everything. So just a lot of focus on Dream Big and Co.
Nice. Yeah, I remember you being really passionate about it back when we
Yeah.
met, so it's cool to see you continuing as well. It's always like a war of attrition, just staying in the game.
Exactly. You just gotta keep going, as tough as it may be. There was a click for me the other day where I just didn't want to do things, and I just got over that hump
Hmm.
with both doing stuff for the business or like training for a race that I have coming up in September. Hopefully, it still is on. But I think it's those moments like when you make the decisions during this time to persevere is when you really find out a lot about yourself. And I'm sure it's been the same with people telling you with doing your interviews and stories, and even for yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah. Awesome. So this was great, though. If Thank you guys all for tuning in. I know we had people in and out, and this is going to be archived so people can watch it back.
Sweet. Yeah,
Awesome.
man.
All
Thank
right.
you again
I'll
for
talk to
having
you
me. It
soon.
was good. Yeah, good catching up with you.
Good catching up. See you, Rob.
Later, man.